Forging a successful career path begins from your foundation, a foundation of quality and professional education. It is a weapon of transformation and a passport to the future. Hipmat's credibility and years of training thousands of professionals in HND, BTech, BSc, and MBA in the schools of business and management sciences, engineering and education, with remarkable mentorship from the University of Bamenda for the BTech and MBA and the University of Boya for the BSc program is second to none. From committed professors and lecturers in classrooms to numerous academic field trips, internships and workshops, Hipmat will reform and guide you towards your success. Admissions are now open in our Boya and Douala campuses. Join us. Together, we will build a legacy.
Hipmat is what it is today because of its excellent and competent teachers.
Your choosing Hipmat will be the perfect place to gain that professionalism that you need to further your educational career.
The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, the University Institute for Professionals.
Hello televiewers, good evening and welcome to another edition of Prime Hour on My Media Prime. In the program today, we are going to be talking about the very big loss that has befallen the African continent with the passing of former Ghanaian President JJ RAWLINGS, who passed on today. And we equally are going to be revisiting what happened at the courts in Bonanjo, where some lawyers were brutalized by elements of the National Gendarmerie and police. We find out what is not going well between these two core men in uniform and the men in robe. Seemingly there is always a bitter rivalry amongst the two, especially knowing what befell common law lawyers in the southwest and northwest regions. We also are going to be looking at the November session of the National Assembly that opened today in Yaoundé. We look at whether anything good is going to emanate from them. The MPs and senators going to spring a surprise for Cameroonians this time around? Are they going to, at the end of the session, decide to visit Kumba, for example? Or are they going to put some ministers in very, very difficult positions as they defend their respective budgets? We are going to be discussing this with Barrister Tamfu Richard, who is a lawyer. He is here as a lawyer and also very concerned with what happened to his colleagues. We're glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Kum. The pleasure is all mine to be here. I am grateful for this other invitation. Good evening to my co-panelists and also good evening to your numerous viewers of this program, and good evening to all Cameroonians.
You must not be very happy following what happened to, I don't know whether you were in court that day.
Yes, I was in court, and to tell you that we have never had, that was the biggest humiliation that lawyers could have on that day. It was a very sad day for us. We saw how we were humiliated, but it's rather unfortunate that it's happening at a time when Cameroon is boiling. We know all the social crises that are in Cameroon. It reminds us to what happened in 2016 when common law lawyers tried to air a view and how they were brutalized. We see that as being state terrorism. The state continues to terrorize even right up to the courts.
Okay, also with us is Modango Bateki, who is a militant of the CRM party. Bonsoir et bienvenue.
Bonsoir, merci, bonsoir Léo, bonsoir Maître Tinfo, bonsoir à tous nos téléspectateurs et merci de m'avoir invité.
Merci.
Une fois de plus.
Merci, ça va?
Ça va, tout va bien.
Okay.
Malgré ce que nous vivons à ce moment, que tout le Camerounais voit, mais tout va bien.
Malgré le fait que le président professeur Maurice Kamto est toujours en résidence.
Oui, malgré le fait qu'il soit embrigadé, ça n'empêche pas au parti de fonctionner, d'avancer et de revendiquer en même temps sa libération parce que il est en prison, tout comme abusivement. On a mis le professeur Fogué et d'autres sont
Bibounissak
et les autres, plein d'autres, plus de 100 prisonniers qui ne savent pas de quoi on les accuse, mais qui sont embrigadés, emprisonnés dans les prisons, qui sont encore dans les cellules. Malgré tout ça,
le parti marche quand même. We also there with I don't know whether his mic is on. Joe Valentin is here with us. He is a militant of the CPDM party. Bonsoir aussi.
Bonsoir aux copanélistes. Bonsoir à tous les téléspectateurs.
Le RDPC aussi, ça marche.
Oh ben, on ne peut que s'en féliciter. Le parti marche très bien. Le parti a un projet qu'il est en train de mettre en place par le truchement de son champion, qui est le président de la République, qui est endeuillé. Déjà, je profite de l'occasion pour m'incliner. Nous sommes les Africains. Quand l'un de nôtres a un malheur, on partage son malheur. Et plus est le président de la République, qui est président national du RDPC, mon parti politique. Donc, le projet RDPC, pour lequel le président de la République a été élu par la majorité des Camerounais, est en marche. Et c'est toute une fierté pour nous.
We are going to also be welcoming the fourth panelist for the program, who is going to be participating from Hamburg in Germany. Padia Sanga, good evening and welcome.
Yes, good evening, Leo, and I want to say good evening to your panelists, and also good evening to all your televiewers who are watching all over the globe. And particularly, I want to thank my major prime for picking up that fight to give Anglophones the voice that we deserve. You know, in the media space, Anglophones have never had a place like this to express their opinion. So I'm particularly glad that I am regularly called upon to be part of this conversation, this constructive conversation, to make sure that the Anglophones are not cheated, and that at a certain point, the next president of Cameroon should be an Anglophone. Thank you for having me. I'm all ears with you guys.
I'll start the debate with you from Hamburg there. Maybe we just have the videos of the removal of the corpse of the elder sister of the President of the Republic, Eli. Can we have that element? Because it was rumored at many levels that the President of the Republic had died, but the sister also passed on. The President and wife were present today for the removal of the corpse. Can we have the element? If it's not ready, Padia Sanga, your first reaction to what transpired today in Yaoundé. The president was very much present.
Yes, Mr. Leo, you know, my condolences go to the family. You know, as Africans, the first thing that unites us is the loss of life, because we value life too much. And that's why you see we bury people in very expensive coffins, and sometimes we even spend more money on somebody's corpse than when that person was living or lying sick in the hospital. So my condolences go to that woman, whom I don't know, I've never met, but due to her age and the fact that she is related to Mr. Biya, she is now known, and I cannot say anything other than say may her soul rest in peace. But that doesn't make me think that and the life of an elderly woman is more important than the life of young boys and girls whom Mr. Biya calls himself the father of the nation and should have been in Kumba to pay his last respect to those children. So I have the impression that Anglophone's life don't matter, only the life of his closest family, because there are also his friends who died and Mr. Biya did not show up. So he is actually portraying to Cameroonians and sending the message that he is a prince of a family, and the people that matter to him are those families, but not the taxpayers, not the youths of tomorrow who would continue to build Cameroon when he will no more be there. So it is, my feelings as to his outing today are very mixed. I cannot go very political here because at death, we are all called to die, and tomorrow it could be me, it could be you, it could be my mother, it was my father. So I give my condolences to the family, but I think that Mr. Biya, as the president of the nation, if he says he was elected by all Cameroonians, he should have also been in Kumba, Mr. Leo. That's all what I can tell you about his outing today. You know, whether Mr. Biya is dead or alive, I have always told you people that it doesn't really matter to us, because I would go, you would go, and Cameroon would remain. And we don't want a Cameroon that will remain with a lot of corpses littered everywhere, a lot of bloodshed, and so on and so forth. That's not the Cameroon that Mr. Biya inherited from Mr. Ahidjo when Mr. Ahidjo amended the constitution and nominated him the president. No, I don't think that that's the type of Cameroon that we want. Thank you, Mr. Liu.
Okay, Ella, if that element is ready, can we have it on? Okay, that was at the corpse removal of the elder sister of the President of the Republic. Do you also go with the same opinion with Padia Sanga, who says he would have loved the President to be present in Kumba, though we may also conclude that maybe he was mourning?
Yes, I have the same view like Padia Sanga. We are all Africans, and to tell you that we are not sympathizing or extending our condolences to his family will be ungratefulness. But we would have loved as well that he shouldn't be selective in his decision making, because when you are acting as the president of a country, all lives should matter. We would have also expected seeing him maybe in Garbu when we lost children, mothers in a senseless war. Same goes as well to Kumba. I don't understand why he could not be personally present in Kumba when we all know how he himself decreed a national day for mourning. So his message to me today is that he's selective. He knows he's not having the interest of Cameroonians at heart, as he always claims. He's only interested in his close family, and that's why we are having him today.
Ok. Oui, votre première réaction, vous êtes touché? La grande sœur du président est partie? Non, allez-y. Allez-y. Oui, allez-y.
Okay. Bon, je vais dire que je l'ai dit tantôt à l'entame de mon propos.
Oui.
Et nous sommes tous, je crois, du même avis sur cette table, parce que ça a été répété, et je vais me répéter également. Nous sommes les Africains, et face à la douleur, on compatit. Et le chef de l'État a perdu un membre de sa famille. Il essaie de bon ton qu'il soit aux côtés de sa famille. Mais je voudrais quand même faire une nuance.
Okay.
La nuance, c'est que un membre de la famille du chef de l'État est décédé. Le chef de l'État n'a pas décrété un deuil national pour le membre de sa famille. C'est pour dire que les citoyens camerounais, les jeunes élèves, les élèves ont été sauvagement assassinés. La nation tout entière a présenté son émoi, et au premier chef, le président de la République. Et nous savons quelle est la symbolique d'un deuil national.
Okay.
Pour dire que le président de la République a posé l'acte, a décrété le deuil.
Oui.
Il y a eu les obsèques officielles. Le premier ministre y a été. C'est le plus haut sommet aussi de l'administration.
Oui.
Donc, pour dire que... en fait,
mais aussi
c'est pas pour...
On a beaucoup de choses à parler aussi
dire,
ce soir. Oui,
oui, c'est pour nuancer, hein, parce qu'on ne peut pas...
Oui, mais aussi
c'est pas sélectif.
Okay.
Ce n'est pas sélectif, vu que l'État, au plus haut sommet, a été présent ou représenté
à Kumba.
Okay.
Oui,
et il n'y a pas que eu Garbo, il y a eu l'Imbororo. Pourquoi on n'en parle pas? C'est pas les Camerounais si on n'est pas sélectif.
Ok, madame, au moins ça démontre que le président est vivant, hein?
Oui, ce matin, je disais que le bateau est en train de couler, on veut notre Jésus-Christ. Donc, depuis des mois qu'on réclame sa présence, il a fallu qu'un membre de sa famille meure. Et devant un deuil, on s'incline, on dit les condoléances. Mais, beaucoup trop de choses se sont passées et on n'a pas vu notre président depuis que les gens meurent dans le nozo, parce que c'est sa sœur, qui est sa sœur de sang. Sa
grande sœur, oui.
Oui, c'est sa sœur de sang.
Oui.
Mais nous, les Camerounais, nous sommes tous ses enfants. Ce qui veut dire qu'on a besoin de lui, même s'il ne nous assiste pas personnellement, on a besoin de le voir à nos côtés, c'est-à-dire, par exemple, pour ce qui s'est passé à Kumba, comme dit monsieur, il ne pouvait pas se déplacer, il a envoyé les représentants, mais ne serait-ce qu'un message, c'est-à-dire un message réconfortant.
S'il y a eu de messages.
Un message vidéo. Je ne sais pas si moi je ne l'ai pas vu parce que aujourd'hui, les messages écrits, tout le monde peut écrire un message. Mais quand tu parles, par exemple, je ne sais pas si tu as un problème, que tu es mon ami et que tu as un malheur, au lieu que je t'écrive, quand je t'appelle personnellement, je te dis, voilà, je compatis à ta douleur. C'est mieux vu que si j'écris. Maintenant, pour dire que c'est sa famille et c'est pas sélectif, je dis, ça ne coûte personne de se placer devant la caméra et de dire vraiment, je suis aussi touché que vous, vraiment mes sincères condoléances à tous les Camerounais parce que ce malheur a touché les Camerounais. Et malheureusement, on n'a pas vu ça. Mais je me dis, dès lors que je viens de voir cette vidéo qui confirme que mon président est encore vivant, qui confirme que mon président marche de ses deux pieds, ça veut dire que dès demain, le Cameroun va renaître. Dès demain, toutes ces injustices qu'on voit là dehors vont un peu cesser et nous allons reprendre une vie normale.
Okay. Paddy Asanga, you got the news of the passing of the former Ghanaian president, JJ RAWLINGS. Your first a reaction to that news? A great loss for Africa?
Yes, Mr. Bio, the passing on to glory of JJ Rawlings is a big blow to Africa, and also a big blow to my senior brother, Barrister Akeremuna, whom I have personally met, and he was telling me how he was going to put out to try to drum up all the heads of states or former heads of states of Africa to try to see how they can look for a solution to the Anglophone crisis. I am very, very saddened to see that he is no more with us and that his influence cannot be felt. That is a very, very sad situation. But at the other hand, I will want to say this, Leo, and you permit me to say this. I don't like to see what we call political scavengers pretending to mourn JJ Rawlings, whereas they go around, kidnap their own chiefs, kill them, and then they pretend that they love JJ Rawlings so much. What tells you that one of those chiefs that they killed could not have been that Anglophone president that we so much wish for? So, to me, I regret the fact that JJ Rawlings is no more, but I don't want these political scavengers who ran to Ghana to see JJ Rawlings and told JJ Rawlings that they were fighting to liberate our people, but their own liberation means that they should catch thieves, kill them, humiliate them, take kidnapped clergymen, humiliate them, collected money from them, and think that that thing was going to be swept under the carpet, or that we are not going to get those information. We know what all happened, and a certain Shao Mao is there on Facebook telling you that he is working with Sako Kmer, and he's the one who took the chief of the fund of So, was keeping him for interrogation. Who gives an illiterate who has never owned any property in life, has no intellect, listen to his English, and then they come today and saying that they are regretting or they are mourning the death of JJ Rawlings. Well, JJ Rawlings is a father of Africa. He took up from Kwame Nkrumah. Kwame Nkrumah was a socialist who was fought by the white boys, and JJ Rawlings is also a socialist who came back and rebuilt Ghana that we have today. So I am so saddened, but I don't want political scavengers to use his death to paint their dirty jobs that they are doing in Cameroon. Thank you.
Padi Asanga, thank you. By Satamfu, you got the news also that he is no more. A model for African leadership?
Yes, that was a mentor for Africa, and it's a great loss to the world and even to the Ghanaian people. We all know the fights, the struggle for freedom to free Ghana. What Ghana is benefiting today is a majority of it goes to JJ Rawlings. So he has been a very active actor in Africa when it comes to leadership. We saw him rebuilding Ghana when Ghana was in its phase of maybe in its independence or in the beginning of its independence. JJ Rawlings was a great leader, and is someone who served his country, and when he was tired, he was able to pass on the hand, like in other many countries that we have today, that we have presidents who want to be on power till they die. JJ Rawlings, after having served his country, decided to retire, and it's rather unfortunate that today we are losing him at a very young age, because I believe that he still had many things to do. We have seen his pictures and actions with some other active politicians in trying to resolving the conflicts that Africa has, and losing him at this time is really very saddened, and I seize this opportunity to extend my sympathy and sincere condolences to his family and to the Ghanaian population.
Okay. Monsieur Njo, what is the legacy that he leaves behind? Qu'est-ce qu'il garde pour l'Afrique comme il part?
JJ Rawlings.
Oui.
Bon, le président Rawlings a marqué l'histoire de la politique africaine. Déjà par sa prise de pouvoir. Nous savons tous comment il est arrivé au pouvoir, par un coup d'État. Par la suite, il a organisé, il a modernisé l'État ghanéen sur le plan démocratique. Il a amélioré l'approche économique de l'État ghanéen, ce qui a accordé des faveurs au Ghana au niveau international, au niveau des organismes économiques. Nous savons tous que le Ghana, il a redoré l'économie du Ghana, mais comme l'œuvre humaine n'est jamais parfaite, j'aurais pu attendre qu'une partie du Ghana aujourd'hui ne soit pas en train d'appeler à la sécession.
À la sécession, oui.
Ce qui veut laisser croire qu'il n'est pas toujours bon de s'ingérer dans les affaires d'un État, surtout un État frère. Il est bon quand le frère connaît quelques difficultés de participer plutôt à la reconstruction, à l'aide à la reconstruction de cet État. Bon, l'impact, c'est les Ghanéens qui peuvent le dire. Moi, je ne suis pas Ghanéen, mais de façon globale, par rapport aux yeux des enfants, de l'enfant que j'ai été, parce que toute notre génération ici, on a connu le président JJ RAWLINGS, Thomas Sankara, c'était pratiquement la même génération aux affaires. Les Ghanéens pourront dire quel impact il a pour eux, mais en africain, vu qu'il avait des positions panafricanistes, je ne peux que dire que cela marque l'histoire positivement, surtout pour les jeunes générations africaines, par rapport à cette théorie avant-gardiste qui a voulu qu'il pense l'Afrique. Mais alors, je dis avec des limites.
Ok, avec des limites, Madame Go. Bateki, what is it that African head of states should keep from the passing of this great statesman? Qu'est-ce qu'il faut les leaders africains, qu'est-ce qu'ils doivent prendre comme leçon de ce qu'il a été pour l'Afrique?
Oui, la leçon que je tire de ce monsieur, et que je dis sincèrement perd son âme, ça m'a fait mal quand j'ai lu ça. Je n'y ai même pas trop cru parce que je venais de voir sa photo où il était avec les autres présidents.
Oui, sa mère a été enterrée, ça fait 3 semaines. Hein?
Voilà, oui. Avec le président Barack Obama. Donc, ce que je me rappelle de ce président quand il est arrivé au Ghana, pour moi c'était extraordinaire. C'était le premier président qui dit que laissons les grosses voitures, les limousines, et que la vie dont les ministres et le président, qu'ils rabaissent leur vie, afin que les autres puissent vivre. Ça, c'était une première fois. Bon, ça, c'était à l'époque, je n'ai pas suivi ce qui s'est passé plus tard. Mais ce que j'ai apprécié aussi, c'est qu'il a fait son mandat. Il a quitté l'État, mais il a continué à vivre comme tout le monde. Moi, j'avais le plaisir de le voir quand on montrait comment il était dans les mariages. Il vivait normalement.
Il était ici au Cameroun, il était à...
Oui, il vivait comme tout le monde. Ça veut dire que c'est quelqu'un qui avait pris le pouvoir afin de mettre son pays dans la bonne voie, dans le développement. Et les autres présidents ont aussi suivi. C'est-à-dire, pour le moment, moi, je dis l'histoire du Ghana est une grande histoire qui fait à peu près comme on peut voir avec l'histoire peut-être des États-Unis, où tu vas voir un président qui est sortant, orné, bon, c'est lui qui est en ce moment, mais les autres présidents, tu voyais quand ils sortaient, ils étaient toujours ensemble avec ceux qui étaient venus après eux. Et pour moi, ça me marquait parce que ça prouvait qu'il n'a pas travaillé en vain. C'est-à-dire, tu as travaillé, nous, on est venu pour compléter ce que tu as fait et on continue sur la même lancée. Je ne connais pas la politique ghanéenne, je ne sais pas si tous ceux qui l'ont suivi, ils étaient dans le même parti politique. Ça, je ne peux pas, j'ai pas fait les recherches sur ça. Mais ce que je sais, c'est que pour le moment, moi, c'est quelqu'un vraiment qu'on doit prendre comme exemple ici en Afrique.
Okay, qu'on doit prendre comme exemple ici en Afrique. We move to the next topic, which has to do with the tussle between lawyers and men in uniform and the judiciary as a whole. Can we understand what took place at the court of first instance in Bonanjo, Barrister?
Yes, I would like to start by describing the whole event so that your viewers can understand. It all started because 2 lawyers were before the dock. There's the accused box. So they were standing trial.
Yeah.
And for that reason, that is why you saw the high mobilization of lawyers in solidarity to their colleagues. And after that, the matter was called up. The accused were present, and the Cameroon bar presented an application for bail, which turned out not to have been accepted. No, it wasn't accepted. It was it was adjourned. That is, the answer to the bail application wasn't given instantly. It was therefore adjourned to the 25th, and that's what irritated lawyers. And you saw how it turned out, because lawyers, the bail application that was presented, the lawyers thought that, or the defense lawyers thought that there were no other guarantees that could have been presented apart from an institution like the Cameroon bar. The bail application touched about that, okay, if they needed the accused persons at any time, the bar was ready to give necessary guarantees as provided by the Criminal Procedure Code. The defense counsels even tried to give the moral aspect of the bail application, because the lawyers who were standing trial, there is a nursing mother whose child is just 10 months old, but the judge didn't appreciate or didn't think that he could give a ruling instantly and decided to adjourn the case. That's what maybe raised some of the voices within the lawyers. And as time was going on, while we were still like in solidarity with the accused lawyers, the police just stormed the place, asking all the lawyers to leave because the 2 accused persons had to return back to prison. And with that, seeing that lawyers were maybe opposing to that or trying to put on a resistance as to allowing that their colleagues should return back to prison, and because they tried to say the judge, they were still in that persuasion that the judge maybe could come back to his decision instead of taking a long adjournment date. So it is all that tension that then caused that the law enforcement officer had to storm the place with tear gas and bullets to disperse the lawyers so as to be able to take the 2 lawyers who were to return back to New Bell prison. So that's how it just degenerated. And well, you know, looking at it critically, it wasn't proper that we have law enforcement officers in a court hall. You know, the court environment is like a sacred sanctuary for lawyers. That's the only place that we lawyers we can speak.
Yeah, but was it proper for you people to also refuse for your colleagues to be taken back to prison after the judge had already given not a sentence, at least said that in 2 weeks' time there was going to be another hearing?
Yes, there is an event that happened which you may maybe think it was a confusive event, because after the judge announced that he was adjourning to the 25th, some voices were heard. So the judge suspended the session and still came back. When he was coming back, many of the lawyers thought that he was coming back maybe to have a different position. But when he came back, he said he could only have a different position if we were to hear the case in the merits. That is, opening of debate. That is when the lawyer said, no, if you came back, you cannot force us to hear the case on the merit because we have not even prepared. We don't know what are the charges. We don't know what is inside, what are your evidence, and we have not yet built a defense. We're before you on one thing, which was a bail application. And we believe that we had presented all necessary guarantees because the spirit of the Criminal Procedure Code is not to keep people in jail. The spirit of the Criminal Procedure Code is that your liberty is the principle, and only under exceptional circumstances that you can be remanded in custody. The lawyers have a fixed residence. They are in a professional corps which is known by the Republic of Cameroon. So there was no need shifting or taking a long adjournment on that, and then coming back to behave as if he wants to come out, he wants to reverse his decision. I think it's that mix-up that frustrated the lawyers the more, because when he came back, we had the hopes that maybe he was reversing his decision, but when he came back, he tried to impose a certain directive on how the case had to go on. So it is from there that after a refusal from the lawyers that no, we cannot hear the case on the merit, he got annoyed and left.
Okay. So, and he went, Monsieur Njo, est-ce que vous avez l'impression que le magistrat ou le juge a cru ou a vu comme si the lawyers wanted to take the laws into their hands? Ils imposaient les lois. Les avocats.
Oui, je vais dire ce que je vais dire. Hein. Nous ne sommes pas dans l'esprit des juges ou des magistrats. Nous sommes en train de spéculer.
Oui.
Nous sommes dans un état de droit. Et il n'y a pas meilleur corps que ceux-là, c'est-à-dire la corporation des avocats ainsi que les magistrats pour parler du droit. Alors, quand le juge a donné la position qui est la sienne vis-à-vis des accusés, moi j'aurais, dans un état de droit, j'aurais souhaité ou pensé que c'est les défenseurs de ces avocats prennent d'autres démarches, mais exécutent d'abord la décision qui est rendue, bien que ces personnes soient leurs collègues. Bon, il s'en est suivi les échauffourées. Personne ne peut dire avec exactitude, mais nous savons pourquoi. Maître, vous pouvez nous dire pourquoi les deux avocats ont été enfin,
no, we are going to go to.
We cannot talk about the case file now because it's still pending in court.
No, I'm going to ask that question.
Oui.
Because seemingly everybody knows that they were said to have taken 3 million francs from a client to influence the decision of the judge. Huh?
No, in my
is also an aspect that
as a lawyer, it's not professional for me to discuss.
But the information is everywhere.
Yes, the information is everywhere, but I cannot talk about it here because
professional solidarity.
Not professional solidarity. It is even against the law where that when a matter is still pending in court, you start discussing the file. So I think what we should know is that they were being charged over offenses of false pretense, contempt on a magistrate, and maybe corruption. Yes, those are the charges that we all know. But now discussing whether how much was inside or it went to who, sincerely, I don't have the case file. I don't know exactly what is inside.
Okay, but after passing the sentence, and you people are insisting that no, it must be now, when there was when the judge, him or herself, had said that it is going to be coming up in 2 weeks' time, does it not give the impression that you people were enforcing your opinions on that of the judge?
Moi, je le disais déjà tantôt, je disais, les avocats n'avaient qu'à respecter. Voilà, n'avaient qu'à respecter. au lieu de s'opposer et de refuser que leurs collègues ne soient amenés. Alors, est-ce que l'avocat est-il au-dessus?
C'est la question que je pose. Hein.
Voilà, j'en arrive. Est-ce que l'avocat est au-dessus de la loi sous prétexte qu'il a une robe noire? Nous sommes tous des citoyens. Face à la loi, nous sommes tous égaux. Et surtout, quand on est déjà, le mot est en train de m'échapper, quand on est déjà accusé, ça veut dire que on doit rendre le droit. Alors, ces avocats accusés ne sont pas le problème. Mais le problème, c'est leurs collègues qui refusent d'observer, de faire exécuter, du moins de laisser la décision être exécutée. D'où les échauffourées. Maintenant, il s'agit d'une histoire de corruption. Moi, je pense qu'il est temps que les avocats, le barreau dans son ensemble, essayent de se remettre en question. Parce que le métier d'avocat, c'est un métier qui demande une certaine probité morale. Alors, pour que les jeunes avocats, j'ai appris que c'est des jeunes, soient tentés à la corruption, ou semblent avoir été tentés à la corruption, je pense que les aînés doivent faire quelque chose.
Okay. Paddy Asanga, you've listened to Barrister Tamfu Richard explain what transpired out there at the court in Bonanjo. Do you have the impression, like others, that the lawyers were, to some extent, struggling to impose their position on the decision that was taken by the judge?
Mr. Leo, I am particularly glad to be part of this panel today and to talk on this topic. You know, when I came here, I went to the university and I did what they call Rechtswissenschaften. I am not a practicing somebody in that domain, but I work in the social domain as a social consultant for immigrants and refugees to integrate them. I hear what Barrister Tamfu is trying to say, yes, but I hope that Barrister Tamfu is not part of that corrupt system. What happened in Bonanjo is what they call monnaie courante. It's what they have been practicing, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. Mr. Leo, I have somebody in Bonanjo, in that New Bell prison, who is from the Anglophone region. And that guy, we sent lawyers here to go and defend him because he was deported. They kept him there and he had to pay 1 million to get out of prison. When I told him that don't pay, let's talk about it, he said, no, Paddy, if you talk about it, I will stay in prison. I'll better pay the money and get my freedom. I'm happy that this thing has come out. And when the lawyers, the Anglophone lawyers, were fighting to get the common law system respected, we did not see this avalanche of lawyers that we saw in Bonanjo going to protect corruption. I would never accept what is happening. Change starts from somewhere, and this should be a lesson to every lawyer, practicing lawyer, because we know that justice in Cameroon is bought and sold to the highest bidder. And what happened in Bonanjo is what lawyers have been doing for many, many years. So it is not a surprise to me. We have people who are in prison, put there by lawyers because of a goat that costs 25,000. And these same lawyers will go and negotiate that you who stole the goat, for you to gain your liberty, you have to give us 1 million to go and talk to the judge. So it is nothing strange, but what I'm very, very pleased is that something has started, a movement has been ignited, and those two lawyers, I'm not saying that all the lawyers in Cameroon are involved, I'm not saying that all the judges are involved. I want to congratulate the judge that took that firm decision and stood by it so that justice should be served, and all these people who trade justice, trade people's freedom, trade their future for money would be exposed. So I am very, very pleased because not because those lawyers were tortured by the brutal policemen, but I'm pleased because they are sitting with some of the clients that they defrauded, and they should be talking to them and looking to them in their face and said, how did I get myself here, where I took money to make sure that justice is travestied and an innocent person gets into prison. So you see the difference between the common law and the Napoleonian law, what they call droit civil. This is what we are getting now. We see lawyers coming out to stand in solidarity with their friends because of corruption, but when the Anglophone lawyers were tortured because they said that you should respect that fact that you are the presumption of innocence and people are let to go free. Why, if that lawyer went home, if they two went home, they would have travestied justice. They would have used their influence as lawyers, use those numbers and put people, influence witnesses to come and give false testimony. So those two lawyers who are involved, they should be where they are so that they should not influence the cause of justice, what they would have done if they were outside. Imagine that this story did not come out. What would we be talking about today? So, Mr. Leo, the law is the law, as bad as it is. They voted for it. They are part of the barrow and they should respect it. I heard a certain lawyer say that it is monnaie courante, that that is something that they have been doing, collecting money, going to corrupt judges to give sentences to people whom they don't merit. So, Barrister Tamfu, please dissociate yourself from there, because you are talking today as a lawyer and not as a member of MLC, but I see another person sitting beside you who is from the MLC. So please, let not travesty justice. We know that you people have the Pope of law as the head of your MLC thing, but you cannot come and sit here and support corruption as an Anglophone and you say that it is because you want to be in solidarity. It doesn't work. I don't know if you still stand as an Anglophone and you want to protect the common law system, or you want to protect this Jacobinist corrupt law system that is manipulated, corrupted, and it's traded. Okay. So, Mr. Leo, I'm very, very pleased and thank you very much indeed for bringing me on this discussion.
Ok, Padi Asanga, Madame Gobateki, est-ce que tu aurais souhaité que le juge ou la juge ou magistrat essaye d'arranger ça à l'amiable et ne pas faire venir les forces de maintien des... Je sais pas.
Oui, à ma petite connaissance, quand on est avocat, on est là pour plaider la cause, pour mettre la justice en avance. Maintenant, quand on se retrouve devant une injustice, je ne veux pas apprécier ce que les avocats ont fait, mais ils se sont retrouvés devant une injustice. Parce que tu ne peux pas être avocat en train de plaider la cause d'un simple citoyen et que tu sais que la loi dit ceci pour tel délit et que maintenant, toi qui es un avocat, qui est devant ce délit, tu vois l'injustice. Ça fait un peu bizarre parce que d'après ce que dit la loi, tu ne peux pas être condamné tant que tu n'es pas un criminel. Donc on est devant l'escroquerie. L'escroquerie qui, ma foi, place le Cameroun parmi les premiers pays corrompus du monde. Donc ce qui fait que cette escroquerie que nous vivons tous les jours, donc c'est pas comme si c'était nouveau. Moi, à mon plus bas niveau, je vois quelque chose comme un partage qui s'est gâté et que finalement on y met de la passion ou bien c'est-à-dire qu'on personnalise, puisque d'après la petite histoire, je n'étais pas là-bas, mais la petite histoire dit que le juge devait percevoir de l'argent, mais l'argent n'est pas arrivé au niveau du juge. Ce qui fait qu'au moment de plaider, le juge a dit « je ne suis pas au courant ». Mais maintenant, toujours est-il que cet argent était, comment je peux dire, était donné pour le juge.
Oui.
on sentirait...
Ce n'est pas un client.
Oui, on sentirait une certaine hargne, qui veut dire que dans ces gens-ci, c'est comme ça qu'ils sont. Parce que nous savons qu'à 80%, c'est ce que les avocats font. Les plus grands avocats que vous voyez là, qui ont les clients, c'est parce qu'ils ont les connaissances. Tu vas lui dire, bon, on va voir le juge quand même, voilà, quelque chose, tu pars lui donner. Et parce qu'il sait qu'il peut gérer ça avec le juge, et tu vas voir, même si tu as tué, tu vas te retrouver dehors. Nous le savons, c'est pas quelque chose qui s'apprend. Donc, on n'est pas étonné de voir maintenant que c'est tout le monde qui veut tirer la corde de son côté. Mais moi, je dis c'est une injustice face aux avocats qui sont quand même les garants de la loi.
Oui, mais ces avocats-là, eux aussi, ils ont pris l'argent, non? Pour aller corrompre.
On ne parle pas, en ce moment, ce qui se passe là, c'est pas l'argent qu'ils ont pris pour corrompre.
Oui.
En ce qui se passe, c'est la condamnation qu'ils ont eue.
Ils n'ont pas été condamnés, hein. Ça devait,
non, je veux dire, on les a envoyés en prison, non?
Oui, ils devaient aller et être, je sais pas...
mais c'est ça, non mais attendez, mais c'est de ça que je parle. C'est-à-dire, je vous ai dit, je ne connais pas les tenants et les aboutissants, comment ça se passe, mais je sais que pour qu'on t'envoie en Newbel, soit tu sois comme nous les marcheurs, que quand tu marches, on t'envoie en Newbel, soit tu sois criminel. Hein? Là, on t'envoie en Newbel. Mais je n'ai jamais vu qu'on envoie un escroc que tu as escroqué. Parce que, c'est-à-dire que...
Il n'y a pas d'escroc en prison. Hein?
On ne se comprend pas, sans être jugé.
Non, mais ils ne sont pas condamnés. Hein?
See, let me just say something.
Ils ne sont pas condamnés.
They are in remand, they are in a preventive custody.
Voilà. Ne mélangez pas parce que je ne connais pas très bien.
The offenses for which they are being tried are, in law way, they are considered as felonies, meaning that they benefit from a right to bail.
Voilà.
So what triggered lawyer is that, with all the guarantees that were provided before the court, taking even the capacity that they were lawyers, putting that into consideration that they were lawyers, putting into consideration that the offenses for which they are being tried is a misdemeanor. With all the guarantees that were provided, with even the moral, the social aspect of it, there was, if we were really seeing justice being done, there was no need for the judge to adjourn it to that 2 weeks. I think him adjourning to that 2 weeks was saying...
Was it the most that
the judge has two things to guide his decision. He has the law and his conscience. I am saying that it appeared before, they appeared to the judge as if it was a settlement of scores between magistrates and lawyers. You get me? So it was as if they want to humiliate the lawyer further, because the offense for which they are standing trial is a bail offense. It's a bailable offense.
Yeah, but can we also, can we also understand that the magistrates themselves were angry that money was given to them, and they chopped the money?
You cannot lawyers have what they call honorariums.
Yes.
If they receive money from their clients, it is their money. So the judge, as civil servants, they should not be looking what lawyers take.
No, but
from what is ongoing, that is the perception that we have, because it's as if, because the person who even filed the complaint is not the judge. Is a person who is in prison.
Okay,
so the judge is not a civil party to the case. So you will not pay a lawyer, and then the result.
Was it a payment or money was given that go and corrupt the judge?
That is why I say I don't know if it was money to go and pay the judge, but money was given to a lawyer for him to do a job, and it turned out that it wasn't. I say you give money. The money was given to the lawyer for him to do a job, and at the end of the day, you think that what he was supposed to do has not been done.
Okay.
And you decide.
Vous devez chuter. Let him.
Okay.
Oui. Non, en fait, par rapport donc à ce problème par rapport aux avocats et aux magistrats, c'est... Moi, je dis, si l'avocat n'est pas au-dessus de la loi, même le juge, c'est pas parce que c'est lui qui tranche, ne doit pas être celui qui se croit aussi posséder la loi. Voilà, c'est peut-être le mot qu'il faut utiliser. C'est-à-dire que s'il juge, parce que tout le monde s'échauffe, parce qu'on va dire il y a eu escroquerie. Maintenant qu'il y a eu escroquerie, est-ce que ça valait la peine d'en faire une affaire comme si c'était des criminels? Là, je ne sais pas. Si la loi le dit, tant mieux. Oui. Mais si la loi ne le dit pas...
J'aimerais qu'on peint la situation telle que c'est déroulé. Bon, mettez-vous à la place du juge.
Oui.
Vous avez demandé qu'on les ramène à Nubel. Ils vont revenir dans 2 semaines. Et que les avocats disent non. Vous faites quoi?
Que les avocats disent.
Oui,
non.
Ils ont envoyé, oui, que vous n'allez pas sortir.
Voilà ce qui nous dépasse au Cameroun.
Oui.
Parce que on a toujours l'impression qu'on a tous les droits, hein, et qu'on doit utiliser toujours la force sur quelque chose que celui d'en face revendique. Oui. Si les avocats disent non, instituez un dialogue. Parce que attendez.
C'est la question que je vous ai d'abord demandé.
Attendez, oui. Attendez. Nous savons tous. Moi, je ne connais pas les méandres de la loi, mais je sais que quand tu es condamné, comme ces avocats ont été condamnés.
Ils ne sont pas encore condamnés.
Non, je veux dire, quand on entre, ils les ont renvoyés en prison. Parce qu'ils les ont renvoyés en prison, pas en cellule. Pour qu'on te renvoie en prison, dans ce cas, la loi, je crois qu'elle permet que tu payes une caution, ou bien que tu y aies quelqu'un qui doit, je ne sais pas comment vous appelez ça, qui doit prendre un garant. Maintenant que l'avocat qui sait que c'est ce que la loi prévoit pour quelqu'un qui est jugé d'escroquerie, c'est là où je dis qu'il faut dialogue. Parce que ce que le juge a pris comme décision n'est pas la loi. Ça, c'est les raisons du juge à lui. C'est-à-dire qu'il faut... Parce qu'il ne faut pas toujours croire que nous sommes devenus les moutons ou un juge parce qu'il est juge, parce qu'il est magistrat, parce que, je vous ai dit tantôt, il y a quelque chose que nous remarquons ici dehors maintenant. C'est que ces gens qui sont les gens qui sortent des concours de l'État, qui sont de l'État, considèrent les autres comme les sous-personnes. C'est-à-dire que moi, je suis un magistrat. Je représente l'État plus qu'un avocat. Ça veut dire que je peux manipuler la loi comme je veux.
Est-ce que la loi donnait le pouvoir aux magistrats de les faire renvoyer en prison?
Oui, the magistrate has the powers to... Because, like I said, the only thing that guides a magistrate is the law and his conscience.
Non, tu n'as pas compris la caution.
Non, c'est qu'il est, apparemment, il est avocat.
The law...
Oui, il est avocat, il était là.
What guides the issue of the judge is the law and his conscience.
Yes.
So those are those two guiding factors. He had the right to take an adjournment, as he had the right to rule there. But he decided to take an adjournment, over which we thought that it was a settlement of scores between lawyers and magistrates.
Okay, I'm coming to you again, but for Richard, who is watching us from Bonaberry, Douala says, Metrotown talks of misdemeanor and felony to qualify offense of 2 lawyers. He should settle on 1.
No, it's a misdemeanor.
Okay.
It's a misdemeanor. Because if it was a felony, it would have been to the High Court.
Okay.
But it's a misdemeanor.
Okay. Now, you are talking, this case, when you look at the reaction of, I don't know whether it was the magistrate or the judge and the lawyers, it states, it depicts a picture of a clear divide between lawyers in the private practice and the guys who are working for the government.
Yes, perfectly. Because we are in the same family. It's the same family. We are just in two opposite rooms. Lawyers and magistrates are bound to work together. But what happened or transpired during that conversation was like as if the magistrate tried to humiliate the lawyer and tell him that no, we are not. No, I'm telling you because it was like a settlement. I'm telling you because he had two options. He had options of either using the law and his conscience. And before the case at hand,
la conscience ou la morale, comme vous dites, n'est pas prescrit.
That is why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that he used the law to settle his cause because he could as well use his conscience to look at the nursing mother who is a lawyer who was there, has a 10 years old child, and with all the guarantees that the bar council has provided, there was no need adjourning it. He could take his. But when I say sending them back to prison for 2 weeks,
quand des personnes même se sont les avocats, I am not
into the case file. I don't know. I am not
procédure de corruption.
I am not into the case file.
Un juge qui n'en était pas informé.
The charges I know is false pretense and contempt on a magistrate. So, the corruption you are talking about, I don't know about. Those are not the charges. Those are not the charges that were read to the court. The charges that were read to the court is false pretense, what you call escroquerie, and contempt to a civil servant who tried a fonctionnaire. That were the two charges. So issue of corruption wasn't cited.
Why is there some sort of enmity or rivalry between the two of you? Are you also not struggling to humiliate them? And they look for the least opportunity to pounce on you.
No, you see, the lawyer profession is a liberal profession. I can price or tax my client the amount of money I think I need. When a magistrate sees that a lawyer has been paid, for example, 3 million, whether he thinks that he's the one who is rendering the judgment, don't you think that he is tempted to believe that lawyers are overpaid compared to him?
Was the 3 million paid for the lawyers or given to bribe the judge?
That is what I say. I don't know.
No, vous le savez.
I don't know because I am not yet taking cognizance of the fact. All I know is that money was given to the lawyers to do a job. And it happened that they did the job and it didn't satisfy their clients. And the client thought that, no, he cannot have this type of sentence when he has spent this amount of money.
Okay, oui.
Maître,
yes.
Monsieur Koum n'est pas le juge. Et vous n'êtes pas en train de défendre les avocats, les accusés. Parce que vous ne pouvez pas dire ce que vous dites savoir et l'autre vous ne savez pas. Non, nous ne sommes pas ici il n'est pas en train de vous n'êtes pas en train de plaider. On doit retenir, moi ce que je retiens, c'est une question d'éthique. Et l'avocat est un auxiliaire de la justice. Et un auxiliaire de justice qui doit être rempli de probité morale. Parce que il défend, il conseille les clients, il accompagne les clients. Par conséquent, il doit être d'une intégrité bien connue. Alors, les échauffourées naissent de quoi? Les échauffourées naissent du fait que les avocats refusent qu'on exécute une décision qui est prise par le juge. Vous avez parlé de la conscience. Ce juge-là a trouvé que c'est la meilleure décision à l'instant, c'était de renvoyer les accusés à Newbel. Les avocats qui ont plaidé et n'ont pas réussi à renverser la position.
Ce que tu ne dis pas, c'est que lorsqu'il suspend, il revient. Et lorsqu'il revient, parce que voilà ce qui cause, lorsqu'il renvoie, après quelques voix, lui-même revient, et lorsqu'il revient, il dit, si je dois changer ma position, vous devez ouvrir le débat et on juge l'affaire, là.
Okay.
Là, c'est ça donc qui fâche. Oui. Vous n'étiez pas, moi j'étais là. Oui. C'est ça donc qui fâche les avocats.
Vous étiez là, mais vous ne savez pas que c'est une histoire de corruption.
Puisque le dossier n'a pas été ouvert. Le dossier n'a pas été ouvert. On a juste plaidé la demande de mise en liberté.
Qui n'a pas été accordée.
Je dis,
c'est pas le droit du juge.
Il a renvoyé. Oui, et il est revenu pour prendre une autre position, mais en donnant des conditions.
Là, c'est des
voilà
détails.
Ça,
c'est des détails.
J'ai dit, c'est pas le détail, c'est là où est parti tout.
Okay. Padi Asanga, you saw. No, Padi Asanga, I want to get your reaction between the reaction of the elements of forces of law and order when they came to Bonanjo. I'm sure you have seen the videos of those who were also hurt there. And then you look at the reaction of these same guys towards the common law lawyers. Does it speak of a bitter rivalry between the guys who are putting up the black robe and the men in uniform, who would always seize any opportunity to humiliate the other?
Yes, Mr. Bio, you see, you have raised a pertinent subject, and that subject is what is dividing us today, and that is exactly what caused the problems in the north and southwest regions. You want to understand that people who are supposed to be the vanguard of the common man like you and me were dragged up, scrabbled, their ropes were taken away, their wigs taken away in Boya, just because they wanted to protect a clean and uncorrupt judicial system, not like the one that Barrister Tamfu is trying to defend here. Because it seems to me as if Barrister Tamfu has been assimilated in that system, and you want to understand his political lineage. So, when you look at the configuration of what is happening now, these people who are not very educated, men in uniform, they have not read all the text. They are trained to intervene and execute without thinking. They don't have that leverage to do analysis. And when they come in court and they have that opportunity to treat lawyers, which is a noble profession that has been instrumentalized by two corrupt lawyers, we should call it for what it is. That is my own analysis, and that's what I know about the situation. You know how critical I am when such subjects come. Then those people will come and tell them that they will use that force of what they call the power, the monopoly of violence of the state to treat these lawyers, degrade them, whereas some of these lawyers were very manipulated. I don't think that at the time, if Tamfu was manifesting in that court, he would have known exactly what transpired. Looking backward, he might have got some elements that are edifying him, but the deontology of his profession permits him to align with the lawyers. But Leo, this is the question you should ask yourself. If these two lawyers, corrupt lawyers, were left free, do you know how much pressure they would have exerted on witnesses? How much evidence they would have disseminated? Can you answer me that question, Mr. Leo, please? I'm not the one to ask questions, but please, just let me hear what you say. So, why?
No, please. I want you to talk. I want you to talk on the rivalry between gendarmes, police officers, and our lawyers. It's always very bitter. Yeah, when they have to react, they go to some levels that we hardly understand why.
Leo, you want to know that lawyers, they belong to what they call a liberal corporation, and these people, they think that the gendarmes and police, they come from this Jacobini system that they don't respect. I am not happy. Let me be honest to you. I'm not happy to the fact that they were throwing tear gases in court and trying to dissimulate people with tear gas and rubber bullets or whatsoever that happened there. I'm not interested in that. What I'm trying to say here is that the courts in Cameroon, the Jacobini system that has infiltrated the Anglophone common law system, they are acting the same way. What happened in Bonanjo is just a demonstration that they think that vous avez fait les grandes écoles, nous sommes les sangalons, mais on va vous montrer. And they come with that brute force, which nobody's like. That rivalry has always been there. If you send a policeman to go and arrest Mr. Biya now, go and see the way they humiliated Gbagbo when they took him as a president. Whereas Mr. Gbagbo was was the president of the country. Go see when they send anybody, be it somebody who is just what you call the gardien de la paix, to go and arrest somebody who is educationally superior to him. That's the reaction that you're going to find there. And that's how those people have been programmed. These are Jacobinist forces of law and order who know nothing about the law. They say, bon, interpellez-le, faites tout pour les neutraliser et les envoyer dehors. They come there with brute force, and you see the scenario that you have there. So there is, in the forces of law and order, a complex of inferiority because they are not educated. They don't have that education. They don't have that societal respect because they are known as people, Mimi Franc, les policiers de Mimi Franc, les policiers de 500 francs. And when you send them in those things that they go and tell you that, oui, je n'étais pas à l'école avec toi, mais tu vas voir alors que tu vas sentir. Moi, je vais te monter. That's how it happens. Va dire à ton professeur des universités de venir te sauver. That rivalry has always been there. And that's why they could disgrace common law lawyers who were fighting for a noble cause. Not these two corrupt lawyers who are trying to politicize their corruption and bringing people like my brother Tamfu in to come and be saying what he is saying right now. No, we should try to dissociate the bad seat from the good seat so that nobody should find himself involved in such a situation.
Okay, buddy.
That is just the tip of the iceberg, and I think that the fight has started, and they will pick it from there. Thank you, Mr. Liu.
Okay, good evening to you all in the studio. This is Tanu Elvis. I felt a deep pain in my heart when I got the news that JJ RAWLINGS was no more. I remember him for his integrity and his firm stand on the Anglophone crisis, calling on the powers that be to address the root causes of the crisis. I remember him blasting the United Nations for failing to prevent conflicts before they progressed into a war, when he had the opportunity to address the United Nations in the area of conflicts. He was a great leader. May God comfort him. Thank you, Tanyu. Bless. Good evening, Mr. Liu, the CPD man in the studio. He's not saying the truth. Okay. CPD members will never lack a reason to defend their leader, even when they know deep in them that what they are saying is totally not true. Okay. Good evening to you, and thank you for your message. Leo and panelists, good evening. We learn in school that a state like ours has 3 arms of government, but since in our case we have only 1 arm, which is only the executive, that is why a judge could call law enforcement officers to brutalize laws okay. Kazo is writing from Loom. Good evening to you. Kazo, good evening. Greetings. So these gendarmes had the guts to fire tear gas right inside the courtroom. Oh my God, this is something unheard of. Those who perpetrated that act should be brought to book for endangering people's life. The justice system in Cameroon has been robbed in mob. Tabot Machiavelli writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Leo. I love the program. Hysen is writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Hysen. Good evening, Mr. Leo. President Paul Biya showing us today at the elder sister's funeral is a great thing because it has revealed a lot. It is a proof of deliberate neglect and zero concern, not only to the Anglophone crisis and killings, but also to the ravaging COVID-19 in which he decided to be silent all through. But Mr. Liu, that Biya was present at the elder sister's funeral and not in Kumba, Ongabu is a thing so many Cameroonians are also doing. So it's not a big deal. Family first before professional responsibility. Mr. Liu, we have seen people who have refused to follow their very close friends to their villages for the burial of their loved ones because of the insecurity involved, but they carry the corpses of their own family members to more dangerous and risky villages just because when it is about family, you can't hide since family comes first. Tiku Felix Ndip is writing from Boya. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to the co-panelists. Thank you for this program. I learn every day. Keep it up. Esther is writing from Yaoundé. Rawlings' poor economic policy in Ghana brought untold plight to Ghanaians. This caused many Ghanaians to migrate to Nigeria, while in Nigeria the Ghanaians were involved in all sorts of degrading jobs, so much so that the Nigerians were not happy with them, and they started chasing all Ghanaians out of their country. This led to the popular slogan, Ghana must go. Mokta Biko in Bankomo in Yaoundé. Okay, Valentine writing from Bamenda says, good evening, Mr. Liu. Cameroon is sinking. Okay. Pilo says, we have but colonial dogs in Cameroon called men in uniform protecting their colonial master. Pilo is writing from Kumba. Good evening. Nothing went wrong. Your caption or whatever makes no sense. We all know Cameroon and her government is wrong. Question should be, what is the way out? Well, the day you come to moderate the program, you said the questions. Mais est-ce que vous ne croyez pas aussi que la réaction a été aussi très sévère?
La réaction a été celle d'une police de maintien de l'ordre qui a usé des moyens de dispersion d'une foule.
C'était quand même des avocats dans une salle.
Dans une salle face au juge. Certainement qu'il a fallu à un moment protéger parce que il y a eu des débordements. Les vidéos en témoignent du mouvement d'ensemble qui a été déclenché par l'ensemble des avocats dans la salle. Et les forces de l'ordre sont mieux placées parce que c'est eux qui ont fait le travail que quiconque. Nous sommes en train d'apprécier à distance. Mais ce que je vais retenir ou que je vais essayer d'ajouter, nous sommes dans un état de droit. Et il n'y a aucun citoyen qui soit au-dessus de la loi. Même ceux qui organisent les marches savent comment organiser une marche. Pire encore, quand certains pensent qu'il faut fuir des élections pour aller chercher le pouvoir dans la rue, à ce qu'ils ont appelé le chassement, ils vont trouver en face de la loi. Ce n'est pas un individu. Ils vont trouver la loi. Et la loi est l'émanation de la nation tout entière. Et le juge qui dit le droit, le juge ne dit pas le droit à son nom. Il a prêté serment, maître. Je crois que vous voyez ça au quotidien. Il a prêté serment et il dit le droit au nom de l'État, au nom de la République. C'est pas à son nom. Donc, je ne vois pas où est-ce qu'un juge aura à vouloir humilier je ne veux pas dire c'est pas ses collègues, mais c'est tout comme, parce que tous sont dans le même environnement professionnel. Alors, d'une manière ou d'une autre, mettons l'accent sur le respect des lois. Parce qu'il y a un certain discours d'une certaine opposition ou d'un certain parti qui vit en marge de la légalité, qui est en train d'instiller un discours qui se veut un discours des personnes qui pensent que la loi appartient aux autres et non à eux. Non.
Oui.
Pour chuter, madame, vous êtes une mère d'enfants certainement. Nous en Afrique, même quand on n'a pas accouché, les enfants qui sont autour sont les nôtres. Madame,
merci, j'ai accouché.
Merci pour cette information. Madame, quand vous venez, vous êtes certainement dans un parti politique et vous êtes une mère. La mission d'un parti politique, c'est d'éduquer les citoyens. Pas d'ameuter les citoyens, non. Et le caractère premier qu'une organisation ou que des composants d'une société doivent observer, c'est la loi. Même dans nos maisons, il y a la loi. L'enfant ne fait pas ce qu'il veut. Même les parents, qui sont les garants de cette maison, ne font pas ce qu'ils veulent devant leurs enfants.
Ok.
Donc, quand nous sommes sur les plateaux, parlons aux Camerounais, oublions nos idéologies politiques et essayons de transmettre les valeurs, défendons les valeurs, parce que le président de la République, le président Paul Biya, a mis l'accent, le président de la République a mis, oui, vous allez, le président de la République a mis l'accent, le président de la République a mis l'accent sur les valeurs.
Ah bon?
Oui.
C'est ces valeurs qui font qu'il se croit seulement président de sa famille et non président de la République.
C'est votre opinion.
Parce que quand tu as les valeurs, je vais répondre à M. Ndiaye parce qu'il s'est adressé à moi. Et je vais lui demander de me donner un peu du respect. Parce que quand il me parle, il dit, Madame, vous avez des enfants, j'en ai 5, qui sont assez grands. Madame, vous appartenez certainement. Non, monsieur, sur ce plateau, on sait d'où je viens et on sait d'où vous venez. Vous êtes du RDPC et moi, je suis du MRC. Maintenant, l'image que vous aimez toujours mettre du MRC, vous êtes là pour mettre peut-être de la boue dans la tête des Camerounais. On ne dit pas aux Camerounais ce qu'ils ne savent pas déjà. On ne dit pas aux Camerounais que voilà un président qui a abandonné son pays depuis 6 mois et qui réapparaît au deuil de sa sœur. Les Camerounais n'ont pas besoin qu'on le leur rappelle, ils voient. Les Camerounais n'ont pas besoin qu'on leur rappelle l'injustice qu'on vit tous les jours par rapport à la vie quotidienne, par rapport au fait que, parce que tout à l'heure je voulais y arriver en parlant les magistrats, les policiers et tout cela. Eux, c'est eux qui font la loi. C'est eux, même, par exemple, les bons monsieur du RDPC. Eux, ils font la loi. Eux, ils connaissent tout. Et ils sont droits. C'est pour ça que nos routes sont bien arrangées. C'est pour ça que notre niveau de vie est bien. C'est pour ça que le Camerounais moyen vit bien.
Oui,
donc, voilà pourquoi nous, du MRC, nous sommes là pour montrer que le RDPC, depuis 38 ans, travaille tellement bien.
Qu'il a été élu.
Et qu'il a été
élu.
Faussement élu.
Oh.
Parce qu'un président élu, depuis 2 ans, parce que quand le monsieur est entré ici, vous ne l'avez pas certainement écouté. Il paraît que le RDPC a un projet. J'aimerais écouter ce projet. Peut-être, comme on l'a dit aujourd'hui, le RDPC va enfin sortir de ce sommeil depuis 38 ans et on va voir les résultats de leurs promesses. Parce que je me rappelle quand le président prenait encore les discours en disant nous allons bientôt voir le fond du tunnel.
Can I ask my question now?
Yes.
Est-ce que vous croyez que la force qui a été utilisée pour arrêter ce qui se passait à Bonanjo était excessive? Et qu'est-ce que, d'après vous, qu'est-ce qu'il fallait faire pour que ça ne déborde pas ce qu'on a vécu là, ce qu'on a vu?
Notre armée.
Oui.
Et je salue certains qui travaillent vraiment pour notre bien-être. Mais nous savons que, comme je disais tantôt, la police, les gendarmes, ce sont les gens qui attendent toujours qu'on leur dise que allez brutaliser. C'est ce qu'ils attendent. C'est-à-dire que c'est un style, genre, il pense qu'il est avocat parce qu'il porte la cravate ou une toge, qu'il pense qu'il est plus que moi. Mais je vais lui montrer que la loi, c'est moi. Moi, je l'ai vécu, personnellement.
Oui, vous allez nous expliquer.
Donc,
après, oui.
Ce qui fait que la police, il suffit seulement de dire à un policier, comme je sors là maintenant, voilà une MRCiste. Mais non, il va dire, ok, oh, maintenant je dois montrer mes muscles. Et pourtant, on a les endroits où on les attend vraiment, mais on ne les voit pas. Ils sont toujours, parce que moi j'ai vécu une scène dernièrement où effectivement la police est venue. Je ne sais pas, mais j'ai salué ce qu'ils ont fait. Peut-être parce qu'ils ont trouvé qu'on n'était pas nombreuses. Ils sont venus, ils nous ont trouvés à la région, au siège du MRC.
Ici à Douala?
Oui, en train de pleurer, les enfants. Donc, le jour de deuil national qui était un jeudi, ils sont arrivés, ils nous ont dit, ne marchez pas, parce qu'on commençait à amorcer une marche. Asseyez-vous. On s'est assis ici. Ils sont restés là, pendant peut-être 2 heures du temps où on était là. Après, on s'est levé, on est parti. Voilà les avocats qui sont dans leur salle, dans leur sanctuaire. Parce que moi, je me dis, je vous dis toujours, c'est la vie de quelqu'un de toujours. C'est comme tu peux être dans un pays étranger. Et quand la guerre éclate là-bas, on va dire, cours vers ton ambassade. Donc l'avocat est dans son sanctuaire, dans son lieu de travail. Qu'est-ce qui a lieu de le brutaliser? Qu'est-ce qu'il a commis comme acte répréhensible? Parce qu'il a dit qu'il ne bouge pas. Il faut maintenant lancer les gaz lacrymogènes, tirer sur les gens. Non, mais il ne faut pas, c'est-à-dire que ne faisons pas comme si notre police ou notre gendarmerie, elles osent aboyer qu'ils attendent seulement le moment où on dit « tant » et ils commencent à tirer sur leurs frères.
Mais ils sont en train de...
Ils ont cassé les chaises. Ils ont cassé les chaises. Ils ont cassé les murs. Ils étaient assis ou debout.
Bon.
Donc, ils n'ont... Enfin...
Mais il fallait que... on ferme, non?
On ferme.
Non.
Donc, ils ont...
Il
fallait qu'on ferme. Ils ont empêché qu'on ferme.
Je ne sais pas.
Donc, je dis,
oui.
Il y a... C'est-à-dire que rendons la brutalité par la brutalité. Si un avocat est debout et dit « je ne bouge pas »,
on devait se mal laisser là-bas.
Il était dans sa maison.
Ok.
Il était chez lui.
Et le juge n'est pas dans sa maison?
Le juge aussi était chez lui. Mais le policier n'est pas chez lui.
Est-ce qu'on a brutalisé, donc brutalisé le juge?
On a brutalisé le juge.
Si le juge est à l'insécurité.
Brutalité contre
le juge qui est à l'insécurité.
Ce qui est dans le
juge qui est à l'insécurité.
Et il voit l'insécurité partout.
Non, mais vous n'allez pas répondre quand vous
Il
ne
voit
savez pas pourquoi les
l'insécurité
sont là.
partout. Les marcheurs sont pacifiques. Ils n'ont rien entre les mains. Ils voient l'insécurité. Quand tu es chez lui, je crois qu'on n'a pas encore fouillé le sous-sol pour voir les armes, mais il y a plus de 200 policiers qui le gardent. On voit l'insécurité. Donc, tous ceux qui disent maintenant que non, vraiment ce que vous faites n'est pas bien, il y a insécurité. Okay. C'est comme ça que le Cameroun, et je suis désolée quand on dit il y a la démocratie. Ça veut dire que nous sommes devenus un pays où on va te dire, comme le juge l'a dit, parce que je l'ai dit aujourd'hui, le problème n'a pas commencé quand le juge a rendu son verdict. C'est quand il a dit, quand il est revenu, et que les avocats se sont dit, ok, tiens, il revient dans les...
Okay, Madame, vous avez aussi... Good evening, Mr. Leo. Cameroon is gradually becoming a lawless country. If lawmakers are being brutalized, I think we all have to do some revision before things go off hand. Eric is writing from Fiango in Kumba. Good evening, Mr. Kum. Tell one of your panelists to say the truth rather than defending the kangaroo system put in place. It is good it's happened in the littoral region, because if it was in the southwest or northwest regions, we would have been mourning by now. Sakwe is writing from Tico. Good evening. This one says, perhaps let's see what the lawyers did wrong was ask for justice from those they have always worked hand in glove with to carry out injustice. That's betrayal of loyalty. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. However, tell the truth in a regime is bound to die because that is their archaic roles. A Sapa is writing from Kumba. Stop calling, please. Let me take 1-2 messages and then we continue with you. Emma says that Jami Emmanuel from Yaoundé. Good evening to all our Cameroonians. Start being serious. Let's stop struggling to defend an unjust cause. Whether or not the lawyer overreacted, the police should not in any case behave the way they did. I came in late. I didn't get the name of the male French-speaking panelist, but it's just a CPM based on all he has said so far. He can never say anything that can help the cause. Truth is the force used on lawyers was out of law. Okay, my brother Emad there from Yaoundé. Good evening to you. Hope you are doing good. This one says, good evening, Mr. Liu. This country don't expire. Only bad things they happen now for Trowe. Now Clovis writing from Mutengana. Good evening to you, Clovis. Mr. Liu, you want me to remain a silent listener for how long? You have never read my message from Mwalimu Lantum Jude in Bamenda, Northwest region. Okay. Hello, Mr. Liu. People died in Garbu, Kumba, Nyos, Ezek, and Sam, etc. Is Sangmalima more than all these places? We just in a kangaroo system. May the good Lord bless this country. Lantum, I've read your message, but I'm sure I've read your message before now. Mr. Liu, good evening. I drove all day long without giving 500 to anyone in Bamenda like control. Where have they been? No control in Bamenda today. Chika is writing from Bamenda. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. What I need is that they should find where to fix this center before it's too late. It's Abdul Rahman Amadou writing from Banso. Good evening to you, Abdul Rahman. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love your program. Keep on telling them the truth. They will one day understand what you are saying. God is with you. I am Mahmuda writing from Jakiri. Thank you very much, Mahmuda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Tracy Echu from Limbe writes, I do enjoy your program. I've shown less interest on news before, but this program on lawyers' brutality caught my sight. What an interesting program. Thank you very much. Yes, you were going to say something. Yes. I want us to move to our next topic.
Yes, I wanted to say that there is nothing that can justify the brutality of law enforcement officers on lawyers. You will never hear that lawyers have gone to military barracks or police barracks and brutalized police in their unit. The courtroom is a sacred sanctuary for lawyers. What will have been done or expected to have been done by the law enforcement officer was to wait for the lawyers outside the gate if they were still in their hall. The intrusion of law enforcement officers with tear gas to me was an abomination and a humiliation on lawyers because nothing warrants them from doing that. You will never see lawyers going to military barracks and behaving with force. You will never see lawyers going to police barracks and behaving with force. So the courtroom too is our sacred place where we have all what we can do there, and they had to wait for the accused persons outside. Even if we had to stay there for the next day, let them stay out and wait, and when we get tired, they come and take them. What was the essence of using force and brutality on lawyers? To me, I think it's an abominable, it is unacceptable, because we the lawyers will never do that in military barracks. I'm talking about the violence and brutality on law enforcement officers.
Did this case also expose the dirty deals that go behind the lawyer-judge relationship?
It's the whole corrupt system. It's the whole judiciary at the whole. The justice.
Are you people involved?
Of course, lawyers are just actors in the judicial system. Just to tell you that a common citizen doesn't feel secure in the justice system. That is the impression they have. At all levels, you go to the police, the law is not applicable. What is there is the justice is being sold. you go to the court, it's the same thing. So it is a whole chain. It's not just, they should not look at it as if it was only coming from the lawyers. Even there within the magistrate is the whole judicial system that is porous and needs to be cleansed.
Okay, we have just...
Donc vous avec.
Of course.
Oh, je suis désolé. mais les juges en question ont refusé, ne savaient même pas.
I say,
qu'il y avait
even the judges themselves are corrupt.
Ça veut dire que tout le monde n'y est pas corrompu. Si vous l'êtes, parce que vous le dites devant les Camerounais, c'est une catastrophe. Mais
vous dites tout le système judiciaire est corrompu.
Pas du tout.
J'ai dit, moi, je dis cela et j'assume ce que je dis.
Oui, mais...
tout le système et les avocats ne sont qu'un des acteurs.
Oui, Baya Sanga vous a dit à l'entame du débat. Vous avez refusé, mais vous le dites maintenant.
Tout le système judiciaire est corrompu.
Please, we don't have much time. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Is Franklin writing from Douala? I don't think we have any law system in Cameroon again. Okay, good evening, Franklin. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Love your show when the guys of the civil society are around. Hate these politicians that you have today. Okay, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we discuss on our last topic, which has to do with the November parliamentary session. Okay, allez-y.
Ce que je voulais dire au sujet de la présence du chef de l'État, aux différents. Je voudrais rappeler à mes companélistes ici et à ceux des téléspectateurs qui réagissent que le président de la République a son agenda. Mais nous savons tous, l'histoire existe. Le président de la République a assisté aux obsèques nationales dans ce pays. On se rappelle des catastrophes aériennes. On peut se rappeler du deuil de Fouet. Le président, quand on avance des arguments, quand on avance des arguments, il faut interpeller, il faut rappeler l'histoire. Okay. Il faut rappeler l'histoire et pour chuter, moi madame a dit elles sont allées pleurer dans leur maison du parti. Oui. Le jour de deuil national. Mais c'est qu'elle n'a pas dit, et ce que je souhaiterais qu'elle dise aux yeux des Camerounais, que certains de ses camarades ont collecté de l'argent pour acheter des armes, à envoyer aux régions du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest.
Ce n'est pas... Non, on ne parle pas
donc,
de ça.
je voudrais qu'elle le dise parce que...
Non, monsieur.
Ok. Je vais le répondre.
Merci.
Je vais lui répondre.
Non, madame.
Je vais lui répondre.
Regardez, on n'a pas assez de temps.
On sait.
Donc, les vidéos existent.
Pour se dédouaner tous les jours, nous, on n'a pas mis au pluriel. Quand je viens ici, je parle en tant que membre du MRC et consciente de ce qu'elle dit.
Oui, madame.
Mais dans le RDPC, ils ont une même ligne éditoriale. C'est-à-dire que chaque RDPCiste que tu vas croiser dans le plateau va te rappeler que le MRC a acheté les armes, a donné aux nosos. Mais nous, dans le MRC, ce qu'on veut, c'est la paix.
Ok, c'est clair. C'est
ce que nous voulons.
Good evening. Il n'y a pas eu d'achat d'armes venant de vous. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Oui. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Let love lead. Peace and unity should be our identity. Again, Donatien is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Donatien, the prayer warrior. I was blessed today by you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. This noise is just because the judges did not get their own share. They should not act as if they are different. Christian is writing from Bamenda. Asa Nelson from Douala Village says, good evening, Mr. Liu. May God bless you. Your program is the voice of the voiceless. I do enjoy your program. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I would suggest that you always start your program with prayers with your panelists so that When educating Cameroonians, the fear of God can touch them and they will not lie to us listeners. Is KB Joe writing from Douala here. Good day, everyone. Our country is controlled by old and tired great-grandparents. Kevin is writing from Germany. Good evening to you. Kevin, glad to read from you today. This one says, okay, good evening to you. We are also glad to read from you. We are going to look at the session that opened today. I will start with you. You are standing by from Hamburg in Germany. Paddy Asanga. The session opens today. Cameroonians are not too concerned about what happens at the National Assembly. Can we understand why? As we speak, they are more concerned about the U.S. elections.
Yes, Leo, I am happy that you are bringing up this subject about the November session of the Parliament or the Assembly, which is normally constitutionally, or as we know, is delegated to the budget. But Leo, you see, you people tend to neglect us who are here in the diaspora, but it is the diaspora that is destabilizing Cameroon. And when you people were debating on that subject, you actually neglected and forgotten me. And I will not answer your question without giving my own conclusive remarks as to what happened.
Okay, go on before you answer your question.
Yes.
Go on, yeah.
So, Mr. Leo, you heard that the lawyers were brutalized in court and that the judge, Barrister Tamfu, who is a member of the MRC, the lady who's sitting behind you, beside you, you have the CPDM person who is sitting beside you. They are fighting themselves and they are trying to justify what they should do and what they should not do. Barrister Tamfu should know that what they call le code de procédure judiciaire or procédure pénale was toiletted, that is, was amended by his champion. And when they amended that code, it was for you, Leo, me, Paddy Asanga, and the common man, not for Maurice Kamto, and he never thought that it would be for the member of the MRC because he said he too was a president like Mr. Biya. We are not concerned about what is happening, but what happened in the courts in Douala is the tip of the iceberg. And Barrister Tamfu just told you that they are all corrupt lawyers and that justice in Cameroon is traded. That tells you that Maurice Kamto can go to Guinea, Equatorial Guinea, and then trade justice. Tell Obiangema, who has taken all the fortunes of Guinea Equatorial, and go and negotiate with France that, okay, they have given me this type of money to come and give you. That's what Barrister Tamfu is telling you about Maurice Kamto, because that is his champion. You cannot dissociate Barrister Tamfu from Maurice Kamto, who is his model, an eminent lawyer, the Pope of civil law. You cannot dissociate him from that. That's what he just tell you that. And then you have those CPDM people with whom they collaborated to make those bad laws, so that people should come to court and be buying judicial proceedings in their favor for the highest bidder. And you get this lady from the MRC who tells you that they are fighting for justice. Which justice are they fighting for? Which justice are they fighting for? They're talking about corruption in court. They should tell us exactly what happened in that session. And then they should also make a parallel. When they are talking about these things, they were talking in French. They did not take respect, they did not take cognizance of the fact that moi aussi je veux parler en français et je veux vous faire comprendre quelque chose, que vous, madame, qui est du MRC, et votre complice du RDPC, que vous vous réclamez d'être les suiveurs de Maurice Kamto, qui est votre pape du droit, c'est lui qui a toiletté les lois, le code pénal au Cameroun, c'est lui qui ont mis les mécanismes de la corruption. Votre ami Barrister Tamfu est en train de vous dire que eux eux, les avocats camerounais, que ce soit le pape du droit ou bien éminent, eux, ils sont capables de prendre l'argent, aller corrompre les juges. Donc, ils ont pris l'argent des gens des gens du Guinée équatoriale pour aller corrompre les juges en France. C'est pour ça que Maurice Kamto peut défendre les dictateurs en Afrique. Donc, je voulais mettre ce parallèle-là et ne venez pas ici distraire les Camerounais. Ce qu'ils arrivent aux deux avocats corrompus, ils ont mérité ça. C'est ce qu'ils ont fabriqué avec les papes du droit, avec le système que vous avez ficelé en toilettant une mauvaise code de procédure pénale. J'en ai terminé pour ce sujet. Maintenant, je viens sur un autre sujet. Leo, could you please take your question again?
I'm talking about the November session, parliamentary session that opens today in Yaoundé. Cameroonians have shown very little interest in it. I have hardly seen anybody who wants to know what will come out from Yaoundé, but almost everybody I meet and talk with is very interested in what is happening in the United States of America. They want to know rather who is the next president in the United States.
Mr. Leo, let me be frank to you. The problem with the Cameroon House of Assembly is that it is monocameral. That is, it is predominantly led by, or they have the obese majority. The CPDM government, through its fraudulent mechanism, through its ELECAM, which is an armed wing, or which is an extended wing of the CPDM, and the Constitutional Council, which is an armed extended wing of the CPDM, they have done it in such a way that the CPDM can do anything that he wants to do in Parliament. Remember that when we went to that same Constitutional Council and we were telling them that elections should be cancelled, they were the same people of the MRC who are sitting here today. They told you that they had won. But they won with a bad system, but they could not prove to us that with that bad system, they can also get the majority in Parliament. That's a story for another day. The November session is virtually a budgetary session. And Cameroonians are more interested today talking about American elections because they think that if a new president comes in, takes over in America or doesn't take over, it would favor the Jacobinists or the Ambazonian. Because Ambazonians, or just like the the Jacobins, they have been lobbying America to work into their favor. That is to say, to maintain us in a continuation of what France has legated to us. You know, many organizations have tried to put the case of Cameroon on in the agenda of the Security Council, but it could not work because France has a veto power. Not only France has a veto power, China has a veto power, which is also a partner to Cameroon. So these people think that just like Mr. Biya's government is paying a lot of money to lobby the legislative arm of or the Congress and the Senate of the United States of America, they too can also lobby when a new president comes in power. So Cameroonians don't trust themselves anymore to bring change within themselves, but they believe more in the white boys. So, but we still have hopes because we think that if all those Anglophones who are in Parliament now, they come together and say, our people are suffering and these are concrete solutions, or they go into on the streets and say, no, we are the representatives of the people. CPDM or SDF or whichsoever party is representing the Anglophones, they should go out there and do something. But if you are counting on this budgetary session, I am afraid, I would love it to be that something extraordinary should be done so that the Anglophone question should be put on the floor of the Parliament so that people can debate about it and look for solutions. Okay. Like, if we are not talking about it as you people are doing, being the voice of the Anglophones, inviting this lady from the CPDM to come and be talking to us in French, inviting that CPDM stooge and this lady from the MRC to come and be saying all what they are saying, I'm telling you, our people will continue to be dying, and they will sit there and tell you that I can say what I want to say. After all, I'm in Douala. If I'm drinking my matango, people are dying there. How does that concern me?
Okay, Padia Sanga, thank you. But do you see anything? It is true that this session is dedicated to look into the budget. Do you see our MPs tightening the knot around the ministers who are going to come to defend the budget? Is anything extraordinary going to emanate from the glass house this time around? Maybe springing a surprise with a visit to Kumba, or something extraordinary? It's going to be business as usual.
Well, we all know that among the 180 parliamentarians who are there, the majority is of the ruling party, CPDM. So whatever line of budget they have, another political party cannot counter that. So there is nothing much I expect from it, because I know that for all these years nothing has changed. No political party who has been in parliament for all this while has been able to change any position of a law which the CPDM wants to make pass in parliament. So whatever will come there, will also accept it as it is, because we have seen that no opposition party is able to change whatever thing that can come from parliament. The obese CPDM continues to win, and we continue to tell them that it is their responsibility, though all the time they also want to shift it to other political parties, whereas they are the ones in command. They should accept that they are the one in power, and they have all the responsibility to take care of the well-being of Cameroonians. If Cameroonians are suffering today, if their living conditions are lower today, it's because of the CPDM, and they have to do everything possible to upgrade that. If not, it's a failure on their part.
Ok. Monsieur Njo, qu'est-ce que les Camerounais attendent de les élus d'ici après 30 jours? Un budget pour le pays qui va donner la direction pour l'année prochaine.
La session parlementaire, l'Assemblée a été convoquée pour l'adoption du budget. C'est une session consacrée à l'adoption du budget 2021 et les directives ont été données aux différents membres du gouvernement par le président de la République et qui ont été martelées par le Premier ministre. Le pays est face aux échéances. Le pays connaît une crise sécuritaire. Certainement, il y aura beaucoup plus de moyens. Vous savez que les Camerounais, le souhait de nous tous, c'est de vivre en paix. Et pour vivre en paix, il faut que les forces de défense et de maintien de l'ordre soient outillées. Et certainement, le budget va se pencher dessus. Le Cameroun va accueillir les championnats d'Afrique de foot. Il faut des moyens. Les régions du nord-ouest et du sud-ouest sont à reconstruire.
Il y a le Covid, hein?
Je vais en arriver. Sont à reconstruire. Et nous avions vu qu'on a été surpris par le Covid, ce qui a amené le chef de l'État et le gouvernement à réajuster le budget en cours. Et il y aura certainement plus de moyens. Et les priorités, ça va être certainement un budget avec des priorités. Au niveau de la couverture des recettes, certainement il y aura la sécurisation de nos recettes va se faire. L'utilisation à bon escient va être définie. On ne peut qu'attendre le budget qui sera adopté. Pour le moment, on va se limiter aux spéculations en attendant, mais les grandes lignes sont déjà définies par par le chef de l'État. Et je crois que c'est un budget, il y a des chantiers, des chantiers qui sont en cours, qu'il faut finaliser, d'autres qu'il faudra lancer au niveau des grands travaux. Il y a des grands travaux qui sont entamés. Je dis, le budget va être un budget certainement qui va apporter encore plus du bon et du meilleur pour les Camerounais. Nous savons très bien que les difficultés existent, et la plus actuelle est celle du Covid qui a impacté l'économie mondiale, et le Cameroun a tenu bon. On a pu, nous sommes en train de nous acheminer à la fin de cet exercice budgétaire, et les chantiers qu'on a entamés, aucun chantier n'a été interrompu. La prise en charge, pour parler du Covid, les médicaments sont gratuits, les appareils, les équipements nécessaires sont là, les kits sont là. Je pense que le budget qui sera le prochain budget va être encore beaucoup plus un budget qui apportera du meilleur au Cameroun.
Mr. Liu, those parliamentarians are not representing the people. They for their stomach, so we don't expect anything good to come out from their house. Ashu, writing from Boya, good evening to all of you in the studio. Bonsoir, oui, vous allez parler, non? Allez-y.
Comme j'ai une mémoire pas grande, je pourrais oublier.
Non, allez-y, allez-y.
Bon, ok. Qu'est-ce que je vois pour la rentrée parlementaire? Je vois les dames très bien habillées. Je vois les hommes en costard qui vont encore se filer, se pavaner avec des grosses voitures. Après, vont voter certainement un budget qui vont encore se le partager pour que nous, les pauvres Camerounais, on continue à ça. Foncer. Je comprends le grand projet dont le RDPC a. Ils attendent ce budget avec le grand projet où, après un an, on va demander un bilan. On ne verra rien. Rien que des mensonges, rien que des promesses qu'ils ne remplissent jamais.
Nous sommes sur un plateau de télévision, soyez un peu rationnel dans vos propos, madame.
Je suis rationnel parce que tout à l'heure, non, moi je parle comme une quartiésarde parce qu'il y a des quartiésards qui nous écoutent.
Non, les Camerounais sont
non, tous les Camerounais ne sont pas des intellectuels, s'il vous plaît. Non, tous les Camerounais ne sont pas les intellectuels. Non. Tous les Camerounais ne sont pas les intellectuels. Je suis en train de répondre à ce que vous avez dit tout à l'heure, où vous avez plein de projets. Je crois que quand vous donniez vos projets, je ne me suis pas... C'est-à-dire que je ne vous ai pas répondu, je n'ai rien dit. Maintenant, votre vision de la mascarade qui est en train de se passer au palais avec les députés, moi aussi j'ai ma vision. C'est-à-dire que vous avez donné votre vision, ou vous avez toujours l'habitude de dire, oui, on va élire on va voter un budget, on va faire les hôpitaux, on va faire les routes. Toute notre vie, c'est de ça que nous vivons, de vos promesses. Maintenant, le RDPC aura des grands projets. C'est-à-dire, cette fois-ci, le RDPC va réaliser ce qu'il n'a pas pu réaliser en 38 ans. Donc, cette rentrée est très grande pour le RDPC. Moi, c'est ce que je garde de ça. Et maintenant, oui, je ne suis pas une intellectuelle. Et je ne me dirai jamais intellectuelle. Mais le MRC a quand même les intellectuels, vous le savez.
Les Camerounais sont les
intellectuels. Maintenant, tous les Camerounais ne sont pas les intellectuels. Il y a les mamans qui vendent au marché et qui le soir viennent regarder la télé. Elles ont besoin de quelqu'un qui les parle comme si on était ensemble au marché. Donc prenez-moi pour celle qui va parler au Bayam Selam, au Ben Sikiner, et même ces Ben Sikiner qui sont qui sont même les intellos, mais qui sont obligés de conduire la moto aujourd'hui. Moi, je m'adresse à eux et je me dis qu'ils me comprennent et qu'ils entendent ce que je suis en train de dire, que ce gouvernement, on n'attend plus rien d'eux. On n'attend plus rien. C'est-à-dire qu'on n'a plus besoin...
C'est quoi vos propositions? C'est quoi vos propositions?
Qu'on nous dise... La proposition que nous voulons, nous voulons que Biya parte.
Ah, c'est pas un projet de société, ça.
Qu'il parte.
Il y a eu une élection.
Qu'il parte.
Il y a eu une élection.
Vous avez truqué.
Il y a eu une élection.
Vous ne pouvez pas tromper les gens. Tout le temps, vous êtes là, parce que vous êtes les intellectuels. Vous êtes là, vous posez les... Quand un RDP6 arrive, il se comporte, il s'assoit, il veut montrer que... Mais dans rien, au fond, dans la veste, il n'y a rien. Dans le cœur, il n'y a rien.
Ça va, il faut que je lise aussi un peu des messages de ceux qui nous regardent. Mr. Liu, those parliamentarians are not representing us, okay? Thank you. Good evening. Once more, Mr. Liu, I'm in love with your program. I have never been interested in local debates, but for some time now, your program has caught my attention. Keep it up. Elvis is writing from Bamenda. Thank you very much. Good evening. Mr. Liu is KB Joe from Douala. Cameroonian seems not to be interested. Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu. Cameroon today cannot go ahead to waste time on a parliamentary session that has been programmed and corrupted by the Yaoundé regime. We have better things to learn from the U.S. elections rather than hoping on people who don't care about their people. We have better things to do with our time. And please, okay, Emmanuel writing from Gusu in Yaoundé. Tina writing from Tico says, Mr. Leo, good evening. Before the harmonization of the criminal procedure, bail was free, but at the event of transferring civil law magistrates to the Anglophone regions for bail to be granted, hundreds of thousands has to be paid until our common law system is reinstated. The situation will not change. Okay, Tina, thank you for that contribution from Tico. Good evening, Mr. Liu and all in the studio. This is El Casiano from Bonaberry. The truth of the matter is that the law in this country is one person and every minister, lawyer, and military official defends not the country but that particular person. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Is Nobeto from Kumba. Okay. Mr. Nobeto, good evening to you. Good evening. Sir, thank you for your program. It's very interesting. May God Almighty continue to give you wisdom and knowledge. The former Prosper writing from Bamenda. Good evening to you, Prosper. Mr. Liu, please, okay, I don't know what they are quarreling in the studio. I don't know why they are quarreling, me, myself. Okay, we are out of time. Badia Sanga, I'll start with you. Your last, what do you think our MPs can do, especially the MPs from the Northwest and Southwest regions, to at least buy their faces from their people? Are they so helpless?
Yes, Leo.
Very brief, please. Very brief. Very brief, please.
Yes, I'll be very brief, Leo, and I guarantee you that. Okay. Thank you very much for your question. You remember that when the COVID-19 was declared, and they said that people who were coming from Cameroon and other African regions, they were not allowed to enter France. A certain MP from an opposition party decried that if that is the case, then the people, French people, also should not enter Cameroon. Mr. Leo, remember that when they imposed the tax on phones, there are MPs who came and decried that, and today we have the situation that we have. So we should understand that even though those of us of the opposition who are in parliament are of the minority, they should go out on the street and decry what the people stand for. And then we'll see what the Jacobini system will do, because they have said that the other people who are going on the streets, they don't have legitimacy. So let us understand where legitimacy comes from. If legitimacy is decreed or legitimacy is felt by the representative of the people. And I think that as somebody who is from the school of democracy of the SDF, our parliamentarians, our MPs, and our elected officials should go on the street right now and take the bulls by the horn. If they don't do what they are supposed to do, because there is a disposition in the internal rules of the assembly that even though it is a budgetary session, certain subjects can be brought on the table, on the floor, due to their urgency. And I think that the urgency of now is not a budget to go and vote money to be killing Cameroonians, but it should be a session where they should debate and look for ways. If it means amending the constitution, make an Anglophone to become vice president, and at any time when there is vacancy in power, because when I saw Mr. Biya today, he's still very frail. He's somebody, I'm not certain, I don't wish him death, but I'm not certain that he is going to make it the number of times that he claims that he has won election and he's going to defend the constitution of Cameroon. So I still believe that those who have the mandate, those who were elected, be it Francophone from Douala and so on, and they have the interest of the people at stake, Francophone or Anglophone, they should go out and distinguish themselves and present themselves as the representative of the people. If this Jacobini system doesn't do anything that will work in favor of the people. Okay. Thank you. I'm happy to be part of your panel.
Okay. Yes.
My ending words will be that in a state of law, a lawyer is being respected.
Okay.
So the brutality and violence that we see on lawyers today has no place to be.
And it should stop.
And it has to stop. And it is putting the Cameroon bar on its task. I wish to see the Cameroon bar before its responsibilities. What happened on Tuesday should not repeat itself and should not be allowed to go like that. We should set a clear record so that such barbaric acts or such abuse of state power or state terrorism should not happen again, and that Cameroon should really be that state of law that it preaches to be on a constant basis.
Good evening, Mr. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. For many years, we have had a lot from parliamentary sessions whom it's a shame because they accept the decisions without going through. Oui, Monsieur Njo. Oui, votre mot de fin.
Bon, le mot de fin, je vais dire, nous acheminons vers la mise en place effective de la décentralisation avec les élections régionales qui vont se tenir le 6 décembre 2020. C'est un moment fort pour notre pays. Nous savons tous qu'il y a certaines revendications de réclamer plus de participation des populations locales à la chose publique. Et je pense que le président de la République, qui est toujours là, qui tend l'oreille, qui écoute ses compatriotes, a mis en place son projet, ce projet-là, qui est d'amener ses compatriotes à participer localement à leur développement. Et le 6 décembre 2020 va être ce point d'achèvement de ce projet sur la décentralisation pour que les Camerounais se prennent en charge localement par eux-mêmes. Voilà les projets. Alors, pour terminer, nous sommes à un septennat des opportunités et le budget qui sera voté sera certainement, une fois de plus, un budget d'opportunités qui fera vivre les Camerounais.
Ok, madame, votre mot de fin.
Triste, ce que notre pays devient. Mais nous espérons que nous allons sortir de cette noirceur, de cette... c'est-à-dire comment je peux expliquer tout ce cinéma, toute cette comédie que ceux que nous dirigent font autour de nous et que tôt ou tard la vérité finira par triompher.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. The regime in place keep talking to themselves and only to themselves. They therefore only listen to themselves. The earlier they realize this fact, the better. Richard is writing from Yaoundé. Mr. Leo, good evening. Thank the CPDM man for me for managing a country for 25 million, but maybe down to 23 now cause of the crisis for 35 years. Okay. Bidenui Audrey writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu. For many years we have had a lot from Parliament session. Okay. Ebale writing from Mundimba. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Ngwa writing from Bamenda says, I'm enjoying the program for today. Thank you very much. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Even if they stay there for 100 years in that parliament, nothing good will come out. Love it is writing from Boya. Good evening to you. Love it. We should expect promises as usual. The chorus of the anthem says, Land of Promise. Ken is writing from Ngwa. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The importance of this session to the MPs which finance is due the decentralization and not the West Cameroon crisis. Tell. Okay. Tamu is writing from Yaoundé. Hi, good evening to you all. Please, can I call? It's Rene writing from Douala. Rene, you can now call. Thank you all for watching. Thank the production team. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Yo. Yo.